But first of all, I guess we should talk about Very Nice to Me as they take on Sanguine here. Very Nice to Me favorites coming into this.
And definitely the favorites, probably of the entire event, I would argue. But I'm mostly looking towards Sanguine and how quickly they're going to be able to adapt to a different style of play. I think that Armada and Very Nice to Me have their own flavors. Armada, I think, is a little bit more aggressive. Very Nice to Me is a little bit more... They put a lot of thought into their compositions. They put a lot of thought into their moments of initiation. I think that this is largely due to the fact that they just have more player experience, and even some that people would argue belong in the SPL right now. Looking towards Wowy, this dual lane is going to be very important here for Sanguine, because BennyQ, I'm not sure how he feels personally about having to deal with Wowy over there in the Hunter role, but I do feel if BennyQ isn't mindful of his positioning, Wowy is just going to take full advantage of that.
Well, that's when they face off against Armada later on. It will be Diesel.
Yeah, excuse me. Sorry, I meant to say Diesel. Just watching these, watching that last set, get a little bit on the brain. But Diesel, excuse me, I definitely think that he will need to be very mindful, because it's still the same statement, by the way. Diesel has the tendency to overextend in those aggressive moments. They've gotten the better of him during the online portions and cost Sanguine matches throughout the online split, and I think that if he's not careful here today, he could fall victim to that same circumstance.
Well, Sanguine got to a very good start in Game 1 up against Armada. Can they do the same thing against Very Nice to Me? Picks and bans are ready, and that's the question. Hopefully, Very Nice to Me a little bit cold, you know, coming into this one. Obviously, Sanguine's now had that bit of a warm-up against Armada, not in the best way, because they didn't find the win, but they've been warmed up now.
It's warmed up, but they're warmed up to Armada's style of play. And Very Nice to Me, I don't think that they are similar in that regard to Armada. I still firmly believe that Very Nice to Me is a team that is way more centralized around the team fight as a whole, as opposed to just winning out their laning matches directly.
Pele, Chernobog banned by Sanguine, and it's going to be Hun, Bats, and Freya from Very Nice to Me. Baron's available, Mercury's available. I don't think we talk about Mercury anymore because no one seems to be picking him again. Athena is going to be the top pick from Sanguine here.
It is surprising, though, that for the North American Minor League, the severe lack of Mercury that we've seen when he is considered such a strong pick right now for competitive play, and yet teams don't really seem to be all that comfortable with taking him. But I do love seeing this Morrigan pick up here for Very Nice to Me. Amul has certainly already displayed that he is very proficient with this god, and I also just like the fact that Morrigan has the ability to assist Very Nice to Me's composition.
Yeah, be anyone. Agni in response from Sanguine. Do like Agni into the Morrigan, can stay at range for the most part. Those bombs cause a lot of problems too. Naja also selected here. Taco, how do you feel about the Naja in the jungle?
I think that Naja in the jungle is probably one of the more aggressive junglers that you can have right now. It's very well suited for Yuji because he spent so much time going for the utility-based Humbats for all throughout that last set, and then was stripped away in the last game, had to go for the AO. But I do think that as a whole, it's very nice to have with the Athena.
Well, from what I'm hearing here, production's just letting me know it's actually not Amul in the mid lane. It's going to be Oceans, I believe, in the mid lane for Very Nice to Me. Interesting change. Ocean's been around the scene for a while, though, so no real surprise. Just last-minute entry that we didn't know
He
about.
was actually the mid laner, I believe, before, because he went from Hunter into the mid lane role, and then afterwards took a little bit of a step back from competitive play when he was replaced by Yankee, I believe, and then things got a little bit more diluted for Oceans as he has just been trying to find himself ever since, I think.
If Oceans is in the mid lane of the Morrigan, I'm excited to see how he plays that out. It will be an Anhur for Wowy on Very Nice to Me, and Sanguine now have 2 more picks to go. Odin locks a lot of what Very Nice to Me have down here. A lot of pins in place. Not going to be great against Anhur, but he's going to force Morrigan to use her ultimate most of the time to disengage.
Diesel, though, going for the Ho-Yi, not backing down from the Anhur, despite Pillar being a chance for Wowy to have the upper hand in this dual lane, because having that Pillar to just kind of block all of those ricochet bounces could be problematic for the duo. Also, I'm not certain if this is going to be Odin support or Athena support.
That is definitely a flexible option for Sanguine there as well. A little bit concerned about drafting an Odin when there's a Morrigan on the enemy team, so there could be 2 Odins, especially when your team is Sanguine. They're going to struggle with the ring too if we do see that Morrigan become an Odin.
I think one thing I would like to see is Oceans possibly even turning into the Ho-Yi to drop the Sunbreaker inside of that Odin cage to kind of prevent the members of Sanguine from looking to collapse inside of it.
Who do you think is going to win game 1, Taco? It is a best of 3 after all, and we saw Sanguine take game 1 against Armada.
I think Sanguine have a better draft, personally, but I think Very Nice to Me might just be outright a better skilled team.
Well, FDOT and Aggro are standing by to bring you this matchup between Sanguine and Very Nice to Me.
That's absolutely correct. Sanguine and Very Nice to Me. By me and Aggro. Doug's on the 1s and 2s as usual. And I'm excited. You know, hearing Taco talk about, you know, Very Nice to Me just might be a better team than Sanguine. We just got a chance to see them go up against Armada Aggro. But Sanguine in that game number 1 was very exciting. And I find it hard to write off any team that Sheyka's on at this level.
I agree with you. I think that this is clearly a team that has the potential to make plays. And if they get off to a big lead, then they know how to keep it and use it pretty well. But clearly they also struggled in the next 2 games of that series at maintaining a close match without getting that early lead.
Right now, Wowy is getting pushed down here by the Sanguine duo lane. Diesel and Mineral, 2 players relatively in the relatively new compared to players like Wowy and Lefty over here. Not a lot of fans on the side of them though. Sanguine, the brand itself, has not been very successful, and I think Very Nice to Me with star power like Wowy, Oceans. Do I give SoloOrTroll the credence to call him star power?
I mean, he's been on the best North American SML team for 2 splits now.
Right.
He does make a lot of plays and has a lot of potential, but still has those oops moments a little bit too often for my liking. So I'll let you know after the game.
I feel that
if it's that for him today.
Yeah, SOT, he kind of like fluctuates between hot, cold, and not in between. It's really one or the other. So he can be a giant impact to the game, or he can be silent. On the Terra right now with a little bit of a lead above the Odin. Well, never mind. He certainly has an impact once it's team fight time, but I am worried about him in this lane. Yunglad very aggressive. Just like this, Mineral pinned up against the wall. The sprint's going to be used. Hummy gets out. Nice and clean there. Sanguine avoid the first blood.
That was close. I mean, that nearly was first blood. Good aggressiveness by Wowy, just understanding that he's not in a whole lot of danger even by utilizing the jump in that spot, because Diesel's only level 2. Hoagie level 2 isn't going to do a whole lot to you. He really does need that mark of the Golden Crow if he wants to be aggressive and actually get kill potential. So Mineral being up a little bit too far almost results in first blood.
Still, he ready to go though. Diesel, now level 3, does likely have access to that mark of the Golden Crow. DaddyLefty going to be taunted. Not applied, so maybe not. Might just have 2 points in the ricochet. And there you go. So Diesel looking more for the direct wave clear. Probably the safer way to play, in all honesty. But how aggressive Sanguine were playing. I mean, they've stripped away all of Anhur's potions. Lefty only has 1 of them as well. So very aggressive play from Sanguine. And I like that.
Putting 2 points in a ricochet from here, the kill potential has definitely gone down in that lane since Mineral has already used the sprint. So may as well just commit yourself towards the wave clear and don't worry too much about trying to stretch for a first blood, knowing that Lefty has his defensive relic available in the shell, whereas Mineral does not have his aggressive option in the sprint already. So no real reason to go worry about your kill potential. Try and make sure that you're staying up in farm. Ganesha really does up the clear of his Hunter pretty well with that turn of fate. So even though the early game won't go Wowy's way because Impale isn't really very good at clearing the wave early on, now level 4, level 5, level 6, Wowy's going to get better and better at clearing these waves. Diesel will as well, but Impale will eventually full clear the wave, whereas Ricochet often leaves it with 1 auto on all the minions. Yeah,
sometimes when we see Transcendence, so you get the full clear, but Devo gloves for both Hunters here. I like that move. I'm not a fan of Transcendence on these 2 particular Hunters. UG in the middle lane, can box. I get it, but I just think these 2 Hunters are much more traditional, and they do a lot of basic attacking. So the lifesteal is my preferred route.
Looks like Ocean's had to use the beads there in mid because of Sheyka's aggressiveness in that lane. Morrigan, much better in the earlier stages than she used to be. That's why she's being picked more often these days, is because she has better early game clear, but still not great at this stage of the game, and you do need to put yourself pretty close to the wave in order to clear it, and that's where Agni can really punish you pretty easily.
Yeah, when you get too close to the Agni, you're just going to get stunned up, even without level 5, but level 6 and 5 for our mid laners respectively, they're fine.
do want to point out, though, that very nice to me playing with Molluskk and Oceans here. This is different than what we've seen from them the last few weeks. Molluskk was playing on Classified.
Right.
Oceans was not really playing for anybody as far as I'm aware. They had, very nice to me, had Amuel or Elpadog in the mid lane the last few weeks. And then they had Glavis in the jungle. And so they switch it up right before this huge game. And Molluskk is a unique play style. He's very, very aggressive.
Yes.
You have to really be ready to help him out in a lot of situations. And so this adjustment might end up hurting very nice to me here. I do think that Molluskk's top end is probably better than that of Glavis, and the same could be said for Oceans' top end over Amuel or Elpadog.
I mean, I would say easily. Amuel, so Elpadog, I think, was just a Band-Aid. I don't think Elpadog is at this level. No disrespect to him. Amuel, though, I was impressed with. I was kind of upset's the wrong word, but I was a little dejected that we didn't see Amuel continue there in the middle lane. Oceans, though, sure. The Molluskk, though, I didn't like Glavis whatsoever. So I do like the change over here to the Molluskk, even understanding that he can be streaky. Yunglad going to make the rotation, lock in SoloOrTroll. Mineral comes down with the ultimate, and that's going to be your first blood. SOT falls to the wayside, and his teammate Yunglad's going to be next. But the Molluskk, you said aggression. The doubloon for the cat in minute 6, 3 for 1. And very nice to me. Looks very nice to me.
Man, that was all Oceans, though. That transformation into the Terra, perfect timing. As soon as the Odin cage comes down, the transformation's there. And then a 3, maybe even 4-man stun from Oceans into the Earth and Fury, into the follow-up route. I mean, Molluskk gets the damage, but Oceans is the one who set it all up. Beautiful transformation and good identification of the best option for your Morrigan transformation.
Yeah, I mean, look at the difference in the damage. 22 extra damage, 2,200 extra damage coming out from very nice to me. And all of that is because players are grouped up for the cat because of Oceans. And so Oceans is always kind of a question mark to me. He started off his career in the Pro League and looked like a really hot up-and-coming rookie, and then never really found a second home after his debut. He flirted with some teams, played a little bit here and there, never really found that permanent residence, and then kind of strayed away. So there's always that question of rust when it comes to Oceans, but after that play, I don't know.
Yuji in some trouble here. Doesn't have the ultimate, but neither does Molluskk. SoloOrTroll used the Earth and Fury and was able to pop the stones, but Yuji with speed buff should be quick enough to just walk away.
Lefty on the run. Yunglad going to jump over the wall. Big rotation from very nice to be on the right side of the map, but a little bit early. Sanguine to look towards the objective. Oceans looks towards Yunglad, takes care of one. DaddyLefty pretty low, but Mineral going to take care of him. And now Mineral's going to take care of Oceans as well. 2 kills for the support player on Sanguine.
SoloOrTroll dead to rights. Sheyka finds his first kill of the game, and just too aggressive there from very nice to me to make that dive on the right-hand side. Now Wowy's got to worry about Diesel up in his face with the Athena ultimate in tow. Good beads and impale from Wowy is enough to get him away.
If he doesn't find that impale, he's likely dead. Really clean stuff coming out from Wowy. Combines with the jungler for another kill onto Diesel to keep the kill lead. That said, gold lead is in the way of Sanguine, albeit very slightly. More of a notion than a true lead. It's telling, though, that Sanguine did not get first blood, and they've somehow been able to amass a bigger gold lead.
Onto Wowy. Remember, no beads for him, but Yuji gets stunned by Oceans. Yuji, no ultimate for him. This time, speed buff not there. Well, he got it, but it's not good enough this time around. Wowy does end up getting the kill. It does force Oceans' transformation, though, which is relevant at this point. Only 10% CDR for Oceans, courtesy of that Mage's Blessing.
Very nice to me. Doing a very good job of punishing Sanguine. But the problem is that when they do find themselves slipping up, they being very nice to me, Sanguine are eager to punish them right on back. And so this is, I have a feeling that this game, if not this set, is going to be a lot of back and forth. Players getting leads, trying to use them to be aggressive, and then the enemy just taking advantage of that aggression and putting them back in their place.
Molluskk sitting at 3-0 right now, level 10
scary
on this Bastet. Yuji pretty far behind at this point, only level 8. Now, it looks like Molluskk has been taking maybe some mid waves or some farm that Sheyka may have been getting by himself on Sanguine, because Oceans is a little bit behind right now. so maybe that's where this lead is partially coming from for Molluskk, but to have a 9-minute Transcendence done in the jungle, that Bastet isn't getting to get any easier to handle. This is where it'll really start to become a real obnoxious pick that Sanguine has got to find a way to answer.
Bastet's not really picked that much. To reference a tier list, if you will, which I know is whatever, Weekend has Bastet down at like C, right? But the thing is, Bastet is all about the hand you're dealt. One, if you the composition, sure, but if you get off to a lead and you're able to finish Transcendence before the enemy really gets going, that's 100% scaling on almost all of her abilities. She doesn't have any crowd control. But when you're a little bit ahead and you just jump on somebody, cat scratchies, and bleed, they're dead. And that becomes really problematic to deal with because then she's really slippery on top of it. And how do you control that? Well, you don't. It's not the best example of a snowball character, but she certainly is in that realm. And this is the type of lead that when you pick Bastet, you go, yeah, I want my Transcendence at 9 minutes. And, well, Molluskk has it.
Ocean's going for a bit of a unique build as well in this game. Goes for Soul Reaver first item.
So, does he know that this item has been changed?
Yes, I would hope so. I do not think that this is the optimal build path for the Morrigan, though. I mean,
ton of power.
It's a ton of power. It's also pretty expensive. It is better than old Soul Reaver going at first item, because you're doing pretty well, but you're getting a percentage of your enemy's maximum health. They don't have a lot of max health right now.
Love this call. Gold Fury being pressed on, all ults dropped, and Wowy steals it away just like that. Desert Fury, and he laughs his way to the bank. Wowy, happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he just got gifted Gold Fury in that spot. Just no zone there from Sanguine whatsoever. No, I mean, there was no hesitation from Sanguine. They commit everything to burn it as fast as possible. They just didn't have the damage in time within 100 or so. I mean, it was close.
I thought they had it. I liked that play because I really like teams utilizing Naja's damage. DaddyLefty going to drop the ultimate. Mineral is in trouble, but can jump away. And Molluskk, look at the damage he's able to do. No kills, but he's certainly feeling himself out right now.
Quick beads from Molluskk. Didn't end up needing them because Yuji ended up missing the ultimate. I think Yuji was really more looking to use it as an escape than a turnaround tool in that spot, but I was impressed by Molluskk's reaction time to that Wind Fire Wheels ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, Molluskk has always been that player that he's good enough. It's just a lot of the over-aggression that kind of bites him in the butt. You've never played on a team with him, but you played against him on the console side of things.
It was actually right as I left that he joined up on the console side, like that week.
SoloOrTroll gonna control a little bit here. Molluskk gets another kill. And Sheyka goes down to the hand of Wowy. Beautiful ultimate from the Anhur player again. This time getting a kill instead of the objective. Yunglad tries to jump on in under the tier 1 tower. Not going to be successful. 8-4. Very nice to me. Taking control of this game with the 2 for none.
This Bastet pick is becoming a real problem already for Sanguine. Just too much damage coming out of Molluskk. Ocean's with a different transformation that time into the Ganesha that didn't, I don't think, do quite as much as his previous Terra picks, but this option was still pretty good here for Oceans. Was able to do at least a little bit of control and allow the rest of Very Nice to Me, namely SoloOrTroll and Molluskk on the right-hand side, to be the real damage dealers, and Oceans kind of creates the zone. Yunglad gets a good cage off onto SoloOrTroll, but there just isn't any follow-up because the rest of Very Nice to Me is creating a blockade in the mid lane. No one can get there and drop the damage.
Yeah, Yuji needs to be a little bit more, I'm going to say this, knowing the caveat, Yuji needs to be a little bit more aggressive. The caveat being that he just doesn't have the itemization to do so. Building into an early Relic Dagger, an interesting choice here. Molluskk going to be taunted. Sheyka on the run, not going to be aggressed on. I'm not sure I really love the item from Yuji. The Relic Dagger has me scratching my head a little bit.
There's not a ton of hard CC that makes me want beads up more often, but there's more about when he hits level 12. It's going to be a blink, and he's going to be able to blink initiate more often.
But then why doesn't he buy that a little bit later and invest into power, which he's going to use now?
Because he's going to be hitting level 12 it right now. He just hit it, so he can back right now. And if he's waiting until the next item, then it's going to take him a while to get that relic dagger up. Okay. And that'll probably be 1 or 2 blink usages that'll have longer cooldowns by the time he's able to finish off the dagger.
That's fair. Part of me also thinks that an Aegis might be worth investing into above the blink. Yeah. I mean, Cat's like, that's how you shut down Bastet, right? You immune her dot damage because she is dot oriented. It's very easy to get rid of it. So an Aegis, I think this is one of those games where you always want to go blink beats on Naja, but against certain characters you have to go into that Aegis. Poseidon comes to mind, and the Cat also one of them. But Yuji going into the aggressive mode will pick up the blink, and like you said, the blink, the relic dagger, going to help him out a little bit in that regard.
As for the relics on very nice to me, it does end up being DaddyLefty who's tasked with picking up the Phantom, a necessity against the Odin on the other side. But Lefty actually upgrades it right away alongside the upgraded shell that he started with. These are 2 really, really good relics to be upgraded. I mean, the upgraded shell gives you the block stacks, which are phenomenal, even against Naja and Odin, but also Hoyi, of course. But this upgraded Phantom giving you damage mitigation
15
is insane against AoE damage. You can even pop this right before someone gets Naja ulted, give them 15% damage mitigation during Windfire Wheels. That'll often save their life. So you can really do a lot with these 2 relics.
Upgraded Phantom, I think, is forgotten about a lot of the time. People look at Phantom as the anti-Odin button, but it really is. It really does have other application. That 15% is large, like you were saying. So Sanguine coming in here, as I said, kind of the predictable bottom card. Still able to hang with very nice to me. Only 2,000 gold separating these 2 squads. This one certainly looks like it's going to be a very nice to me team fight. Mineral gets on out of there. Yunglad by himself jumps into 3. I don't know about that one. Wowy with a clean knockback, which, by the way, negated the damage from the Odin jump.
Yunglad blinks in, though, right on top of Oceans. Good beads, and Ocean's going to transform into the Terra, but he's locked in the cage. Phantom's there from Lefty, and that gets Oceans out of danger, but Yunglad's still looking.
He's on the backside looking for the support. Yuji going to clean it up, but he'll be traded out almost immediately. Wowy with the kill on that one, 4 on 4. I think Sanguine are on the bad side, keeping their support instead of their damage dealer. Mineral in trouble. He's going to have some help from the solo lane. Oceans gets jumped. Mineral finds it with the reach, and the Athena's going to escape if all things go correctly. Yunglad has the ire of the enemy. He gets out stage right. Diesel gets out down south. Wowy makes sure Yunglad can't get out. But Athena's good.
2 for 2. Just an overcommit on the Mineral from the very beginning of this fight, where it's the right idea. I mean, the silence is good from Ocean, or from DaddyLefty. Then SoloOrTroll is there with some CC, good CC chain by Oceans. But there's just not enough damage quite yet, especially without themolluskk really committing. I don't think themolluskk was really there to kill Mineral, where if you just drop Cats in that spot, I don't think you even need Earth and Fury. The fact that Earth and Fury is used on 1 target, that survives, and then a really good idea by Sanguine, that's a fight you need to be taking. I mean, let Yunglad go, use the Mineral ultimate to get him back right in the fight. Good idea. I just don't know where the rest of the damage was from Sanguine. And
that's very true. But I will say, people have asked me why I'm high on Sanguine, why I have faith in this team, and it's because of the plays like that. We understand that this is not the top level of play. There are going to be sort of gaps in the system, but the game knowledge to take that fight, that's a fight that a lot of lower end teams shy away from. That is the correct fight to take, although it doesn't seem like it. DaddyLefty in trouble. Mineral finds the dash. Yuji finds the kill, assisted by Sheyka's top damage, but Oceans takes the kill. Great job there for the Morrigan player before Changeling even comes up. Very nice to me defend and dissuade Sanguine from the Gold Fury.
Costs very nice to me a couple ultimates to get that kill, but Sanguine again lose their jungler for a support. Lefty has the most spills so far and very nice to me, which is what you want. Your support should usually be the one who's taking the most deaths. Lefty's been doing a good job of absorbing cooldowns, and that's kind of a product of that.
Oh, wow, he's here. We remember how this episode went last time. Mineral's going to look to zone. Sheyka finds the stun. Now it's the leash. Wowy going to be targeted. Gold Fury out 40. Sheyka uses the dash to put damage onto the Gold Fury. Zones out. SoloOrTroll's here. There's the ultimate. Full commit coming out from Sanguine. That time it goes in their direction. You want to talk about rolling the dice? Yunglad's calling craps.
Finds Oceans all by himself. Oceans, maybe his Aegis just came up, but it's sitting like it could be used right now. Good silence there from Lefty, and that'll actually force out the cage from yunglad, but a Phantom usage by DaddyLefty that really shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Even with that many people looking at you, you know Ho-Yi ult is down because SoloOrTroll should be telling you it is from that Gold Fury fight. Sheyka's there, but you're all full HP. That's a wasted Phantom, and Sanguine can really take advantage of that.
That's one of the big things about Phantom. It's up every 2 cages. Fight on the right side over the Pyromancer. There's the Ganesha ult to lock players out. Very nice to me now surging forward as Sanguine looks for the escape after the Terra ultimate. Teams that can hooky pokey when that Terra ultimate popped is really, really important. You just got to get out and in, out and in. Terra pops, leave. It's over, come back in. Pyromancer, not worth throwing everything for. And Sanguine kind of know it.
SoloOrTroll's going to eat a lot of cooldowns, but still up for the moment. Ocean's actually transforming into the Athena to give him some extra mitigations. And SoloOrTroll still standing, but Yuji's getting low.
Yeah, Yuji's trying to find a way out. Can't do it. Molluskk takes the kill. Ocean's now on the backside. De-transformed and de-lived as Diesel comes out on top. That's 9 in total for Sanguine. Sheyka and yunglad are still here, and they looking to punish. Follow-up jump! Yunglad read that like a book. And a wonderful follow-up for Sanguine as they find themselves in the double digits. The chase onto SOT probably, well, I was going to say probably not the right idea, but if Sheyka's going to land the 2-stun, then absolutely go for it.
Yunglad has been just a beast in these team fights. He is really causing problems for Very Nice to Me, and not in the sense that most Odins will, which is the early game, and he's just doing so much damage, and you know no one can really answer him. This has been in the mid game that Yunglad has really taken over. He had a couple bad fights before this, but now he's been able to do so much for Sanguine.
And it's the smart play too. Pyromancer very low. Comes Molluskk, and Lefty's over the wall, so Molluskk will be chased out. Pyromancer going the way of Sanguine. Nice try there, DaddyLefty. It's been the intelligence plays, right? Yunglad has done some damage with the jumps, but the cages have been important, and even when they're not important, I'm looking at mid lane, even when they're not important, the chasing of the relics have been important. Unfortunately for Sanguine and their fans, that intelligence has been met, if not superseded, by Oceans. We can talk about Morrigan players, and there are probably the Morrigan players that are better than Oceans, if not definitely. But I have been abnormally impressed with the decision-making of which character to go into here.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I agree. He's done a good job with that. I'm not in love with the build thus far, but it certainly has been getting the job done when he goes in those transformations. Yep. I really do think that early Soul Reaver has hurt his damage output. And he's doing good damage as is. I mean, he's third on his team, but the early game damage really wasn't there. It's now starting to ramp up now that he's got that Sphere of Desolation.
I mean, compared to Sheyka, right? His direct lane opposition, 500 gold, or 5,000 damage. Excuse me, I'll find it. Difference between the characters. But as I said, Sheyka is really one of the reasons that I'm excited about this Sanguine team. I think Sheyka is one of the best players at this level, and gameplay like this kind of shows it.
Wowy trying to take a 2v1 now, not necessarily by choice. Yuji already used the ultimate just to close the gap, and Wowy has nowhere to go. Welcome to the purple buff, my friend. Sheyka's there. The entirety of Sanguine is there before anybody from Very Nice to Me is even halfway.
Really, really clean rotation there. We're in that weird phase where we're out of laning phase, but we're not quite in group up yet. Everybody's kind of tending to their garden, and Sanguine was just able to do it.
Very Nice to Me is very split right now. I mean, it takes them forever to rotate over to duo. They don't even get close to getting there in time. And now they all back as Sanguine is pushing down a tier 1 on the left-hand side. But at least they're now grouping up and getting ready to defend this Gold Fury. You cannot afford to let this one go. Sanguine's lead is there, but it's not very noticeable quite yet. If they get this Gold Fury, it would be a definite Sanguine lead.
DaddyLefty taunted, jumped on, missed the stun, but still going to continue. Cat Scratchy's on the back line, but it's all mineral. Sheyka takes some of the damage from that, but not overly concerned. Gold Fear started again by Sanguine. They've rolled the dice twice, and it's gone in their favor 50% of the time. Molluskk jumps over the wall, but the Terra ultimate's popped. And Yuji going to be in a lot of trouble, as is yunglad. But he's got help from Sheyka on the back line. Oceans does put the Odin player down. And now Very Nice to Me have the ball in their hands. Sheyka going to be deleted here. Just ages will save him for the moment. But the Molluskk finds the last shot before he gets on out. I don't even think the Cats did it. I think he found it with the scratch.
Yeah, it was a declaw from a distance. That was nice. A nice shot there by Molluskk. So now it's Very Nice to Me's turn to go for the Gold Fury. And as I was saying before, yunglad was very important. He was doing a lot of good work on the backside of the team fights, where he was getting on top of a carry without going too deep and dying. Well, there's where he goes too deep and dies, and immediately Sanguine gets ran over because of it. This Odin has kept Oceans and has kept Wowy so busy and so under siege this game that as soon as they're freed up and yunglad dies, Very Nice to Me get to do whatever they want in the team fight.
So Very Nice to Me taking, I won't say taking control of the game, just taking the lead back. 1,000 gold in their favor. Meanwhile, we're going to jump on Mineral. No chance he gets out, right? No. Didn't think so. 7 kills from Molluskk without a death. 7-0-5. Folks, that's Bastet. That's what she does when she can get a lead. So slippery, jumping into the team fight, scratching all players on the back, and then jumping out. Don't try to do this when you're 1-4. But when you're 7-0, Molluskk is just having the time of his life.
And I like that Molluskk is almost entirely full damage.
Yes.
Not something you see a whole lot of, but he's been playing this so well with his ability to get in and out of combat that he's been able to get away with it. And the one, if you're going to go one defense item, I think Magi's is the perfect answer into the Sanguine composition. It keeps you out of Naja Blink ult territory. Mineral's going to be taunting you as soon as you leap in, so that way you want it to lose the beads. This is a really good build by Molluskk.
Completely agree. Molluskk right now trying to stay close enough to deal damage, but far away enough that he won't get taunted or anything. Because that's what happens. If Molluskk gets taunted or shaken, right, bomb stun or whatnot, then he probably dies. But as long as he's able to avoid that first initiation or peel, depending on how the team fight's going, he really has credence to do whatever the hell he wants. And he's been doing so. Number 1 in damage on his team, outdone only by the Agni player, which not really that surprising. Sanguine now looking for a team fight. It looks like Sheyka's already low.
Yunglad again in the middle of 3, 4, and up downs right in place. Ocean's able to do a lot of damage with his own Molluskk transformation. Use the character that's the most ahead. I think that's a pretty decent option there for Oceans.
Oceans again coming out with a surprise card. No one ever really sure where he's going to go. Pyromancer goes the way of Very Nice to Me so far. And the Fire Giant fight. Will there be a fight at all? Very Nice to Be looking for the big boy objective. And Sanguine have no desire to even play this game right now. They're only down 3K. I think that's a fight you defend.
I don't think so. I think yunglad being down for 30 seconds still at that point.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're walking into a 4v5 where a lot of ultimates are down for Very Nice to Me, and you do have some defensive relics. I think there is a chance that you go in, and you're just trying to buy time. Ideally, you let Mineral get low, he gets out, yunglad teleports in, and then Mineral's able to ult in all at the same time. But that is, that's a lot to ask for in a team fight like that.
For sure. That's true. I didn't realize that the Odin was down. With that said, I would have still liked Yuji or Sheyka to just one man go in and go for it. 3,000 gold differential. I think that's a Fire Giant that is scary because that's the one that breaks the game open, right? You got what? 15, 3,000, 4,500 gold in towers on the map for Very Nice to Me to take. This can very easily go from a 3,000, 4,000 gold lead to a 10,000 gold lead, and it will because of that Fire Giant.
And for that reason, I think it's very important that Sanguine defend tier 2s. Normally at 28 minutes, you don't want to be defending tier 2s, but this game is still close enough where I think that that's a reasonable ask. And like you said, would you rather be taking the fight? This is always the question that I think you need to ask yourself as a team. Would we rather be taking this fight down 4,000 underneath a tier 2 when they have Fire Giant, or down 10,000 underneath a Phoenix when they have an enhanced Fire Giant?
Exactly.
I would rather be taking this tier 2 fight. And the fact that the UG isn't here, and he's backing right now where Mineral and Sheyka are here, it looks like the call is to defend, but their team wasn't ready.
Nice flank by Very Nice to Me. The tier 2 tower going to be their target. Mineral will fall down a little bit tardy to the fight. Yuji not going to really dissuade the opposition, just dancing. And in fact, might catch a hot death. Nice long-range damage. And man, you guys remember how much Bastet hurts? Two things here. One, Bastet is 100% scaling on a lot of her abilities, and we don't see her all that often, so that's a little surprising. And the current world of jungle, people building a lot of bruiser. And I like this build from molluskk. I like the fact that he's a pure assassin doing pure damage, and Sanguine can't deal.
Uh-oh, SoloOrTroll is all alone, but yunglad decides not to drop the cage. No ward vision there really for Sanguine, so they don't know if everyone is coming to help SoloOrTroll in that spot. And honestly, it would have taken them a long time to kill him, even with 3 people there, without any help for SML.
There's a nice speed buffs. Oh, steal. Thought he was going to be able to control that one. Yuji comes up bad. Tier 2 mid lane falls down. Not a great look for Sanguine. This game spiral out of control, and I think we're looking at the spiraler right there. molluskk, big deal. 7-0-7. Number 1 for his team's player damage as well. Sanguine now looking to fight in the jungle over nothing. I think this is ill-advised, and Wowy just punishing yunglad.
Really good job by Wowy. SoloOrTroll finds Sheyka basically all by himself. With Sheyka's relics both down, not a whole lot he can do in that spot as SoloOrTroll's going deep in mid, but Wowy's looking to finish off yunglad towards the jungle. molluskk gets it done with the pounce.
Man, when the jump from the cat's killing you, that's a little bit rough. Wowy focusing on the target. molluskk with the double kill. 2 players to play defense for Sanguine. Make that 1 as the molluskk comes up with trip 6s. And very nice to me, are going to take the mid lane Phoenix and aggro. I think they're going to take the game.
I think so as well. Really well played by Very Nice to Me. And the new additions, man, looking really, really good. molluskk and Oceans both have very impressive games in their Very Nice to Me debuts.
Mineral gets an okey-doke kill there with a hot taunt. 32 minutes in. And Very Nice to Me finishes this one off with 21 kills in total. Great job from them. Nice kind of close game for the majority of it, and then right there at the Fire Giant, that's the one that broke the camel's back.
It's yunglad going a little bit too deep in back-to-back fights where he's alone by fire, he's alone, chasing by red buff and in all those areas where he ends up falling. And again, that tier 2 defense or really lack thereof from Sanguine, it seems to me like they're lacking a strong voice that everyone is listening to because 2 people are there. It's Mineral and Sheyka underneath tier 2 on left. While Yuji backs, you will always lose the game off of that play. Always. If you are if half of your team defends tier 2 and the other half does not, that game is over. And that's what just happened.
I say it all the time, and this is something you take back to your own games yourself, right? If 2 people follow the right call and 3 people follow the wrong call, it's never going to be up. 5 players following the wrong call will always be better than that. Sanguine lose game number 1. Let's break it down on the desk.
Yeah, I think the casters there, Taco, pretty much broke it down for us in the grand scheme of things. Looks a little bit off for Sanguine there in that game. Wasn't as comfortable as we expected whatsoever.
A lot of hesitation in comparison to their set against Armada. I do think that a bunch of teammates were just kind of split on where to commit. And not only that, but I think things kind of just got off to a rough start at the very beginning when Sanguine have a pretty strong call there for the Gold Fury, and then Wowy ends up stealing it away at the last second, and that just put Very Nice to Me back onto even playing grounds because before then, things were a lot more back and forth, but slightly leaning towards Sanguine's favor, and after that, it just felt like Very Nice to Me were able to frequently assemble themselves in a manner that prevented Sanguine from having the solidified team fights that they were looking for.
Well, Bastet, molluskk will be the MVP for that game. And as we watch the replays back, Tackle, we should talk about this more because the casters were surprised we weren't told of the update of the roster change from Very Nice to Me here today. Oceans and molluskk coming in at the last minute in the final hour. these roster changes from Very Nice to Me, they work against Sanguine. I'm a little bit concerned, though, that this is such a young roster to come together to try and make it to the World Championship stage. The very last hour.
It is a very last minute and a bit of a bizarre change, too, because mid and jungle, it's not like replacing your support.
Exactly,
I mean, replacing any role right now doesn't feel very good, especially when you're this late into the season, but to do them right on the round robin stage, when we've been watching the success that Very Nice to Me have been having all throughout the fall split, it does strike me very odd. I honestly am not sure that they're going to be able to beat Armada.